Actually, I did see a couple. I seen a couple.
Have you seen the one where you're crawling out of the TV?
Yeah.
Coming for people. You don't like that one? Why?
I don't like my face.
You don't like that picture, that specific picture. Okay, well, while we're talking about social media, there was a Vine that you posted back in 2013 that,
I don't hoop no more. All I do is this. My boy right here, the other boy right there, it's all about the cook life.
You really thinking of giving up basketball to become a barbecue chef?
I just wanted some attention, that's all. I can't even cook, but that's just me being young and, just riding away with being on Vine and stuff like that. But that's funny. That video's funny. I actually see some people bring that video back up. I need to go delete some of my old stuff.
Welcome to episode 39 of the Celtics Blog Podcast. I teased this one on Friday. It's Saturday morning. The Celtics are versing the Cavaliers tonight at 8:30, going for a 3-0 lead against the Cavaliers. Something I never imagined. Something this guy probably never imagined. He's Sam/Jam Packard. And before we get going, Jam, I got to tell you about my master plan. I'm going to be the villain revealing my plan right now. So first I had Jay on this show, the Celtics Blog Podcast. Now I have you. Once I get John, I think I got you guys all under wraps. One umbrella podcast, and then the competition's eliminated. What do you think of that?
Oh, whoa. I wasn't ready for that master plan. Now that you're revealing it early, I don't know. I think we might see it coming, but it's good to be here. It's always fun to just talk Celtics with everyone. And gotta love Celtics Blog and everything you guys do at CLNS, so happy to be here.
There he is. So we talked to Justin Rowan, the competition, the Cavaliers blogger, on 38.
Did you hear his tears? Did you taste his tears? Was he upset?
It was beautiful, especially coming from a guy who boldly declared that the Cavaliers would sweep this series. That was his heart. His brain told him that they'd win in 5. Now both of those are off the table. But let's calm down. I'm sure a lot of people are excited about Game 3 tonight. Let's talk about Terry Rozier's interview at practice on Thursday. So here's my thing. We've talked about weird Celtics Twitter on here before with Max, one of the representatives of it, along with you. And my big question was, how much do the Celtics embrace this? I talked to Abby Chin. She didn't seem to think that they were involved at all. But one guy all along who I thought had some hope for embracing this was Terry Rozier. And I'd say he does. What about you?
I mean, he's a very online guy. I mean, there's a reason we have his entire history of Twitter and all of his Vines, because that dude loves to post. And so I think he said he was, when they played him the Vine, the Cook Life Vine, he said like he saw other people bringing that up. I think he's slightly aware of it. Like his man Gunna Man, who's a rapper, he's definitely likes every like a lot of the posts that he's in. He interacts with the kind of weird Celtics Twitter online. I think Terry Rozier is our only hope for embracing it. I don't know if he's ever gonna fully get into the weird memes, because weird Celtics Twitter, it's a weird place, man. I don't even create that much posts or content for it. I more just kind of really enjoy talking about it. But I mean, I think you see with Terry Rozier with the Scary Terry t-shirts and the stuff he does with Barstool, he's an online individual. So if anyone knows about it, it's Terry Rozier. And then I'm just I have a really strong feeling that Danny Ainge and Mike Zarin are both just have dummy accounts and are following weird Celtics Twitter.
Burner accounts.
There has to be people in the organization who are aware of it. It just makes too much sense to me.
They're going to make a lot of money if they embrace it going forward. I do wonder, though. So we're coming up on the end of the season one way or another, whether they somehow lose the series or whether they raise the trophy. Both very real options. Let's say it. We're going to look back at this year as the inaugural year of Weird Celtics Twitter, and it all got started back in the preseason. It seemed like from day one it got started with the first take interview before the year, whether it was Tommy Heinsohn who got it going. We'll debate that in just a second. But do you see this going on into next season?
I can't see why I wouldn't. I mean, I feel like the real origins of the weirdness is just people doing kind of posts, Reddit style, just memes, just images that make no sense, just putting them together. That started really with Isaiah. It really grew especially strong this year. I don't know if we just didn't know who the team was going to be, so we just kind of created a new a new identity for him, but I don't see why it wouldn't. I feel like the mantra is always keep posting, and so I don't see why the posting would stop.
Our own Andrew Ducks, he subscribes to that philosophy. I do have to bleep.
He's one of the best proponents of always keep posting.
I'm going to have to bleep you on the S word there, though. Jeff banned swearing on this podcast, so you're one of the few to break the rules, so strike one right there.
I forgot this was a Celtics blog endeavor, and no disrespect meant to Jeff. I will refrain from
seal those lips. So I'll let you open them right now because we're about to get into our top 5 list of weird Celtics Twitter moments this year. We might as well now. I'm sure there'll be many to come throughout the rest of this series, but we got to wrap it up at some point. This is probably the only time I'm going to talk to you before the season ends. So let's do it right now. You're number 5. We'll go back and forth.
Number 5. I don't know. This is a hard thing. I've got to be honest. Like my top 5 list is always going down, but I think, dude, this is a difficult task. I was trying to come up with a 5. We did the madness bracket, and I had to stop at 8 because I couldn't choose between them. I think combat muscles is coming in at number 5. When Max Liederman had it like on the screen, and he said it's smart leads the league in combat muscles and grit. Like that's just a great image right there. But I feel bad like putting that at 5. There's so many other great things.
I hope you get the Ojale factor in there too, because I had to leave that one out. I had to leave combat muscles out. I thought one of the hardest guys to meme this year would be Marcus Morris, but he just completely blew that notion up when he screamed.
He might be my number 1.
Really? Wow. We're really going in different directions here then. But I do have him on my list with the scream at Tristan Thompson the other day. Such a memorable. I mean, how else were we going to talk about Tristan Thompson and his relationship issues throughout the course of the series without that moment? And that just allowed everybody. We got the entertainment media involved here. We got to bring that whole crowd into the Celtics universe through that. And we really just had 2 worlds collide there. So that's my number 5. Number 4.
Well, I just want to say one thing about Mook. The image of him, like the classic meme of him looking at not his girlfriend, and it's ISO fadeaway instead of easy layup. Like that is an all-time internet image. Number 4, I'm gonna go. I mean, I think it's Al Horford's eyes. Just like he's a beautiful man. I think in all the wonderfulness surrounding just like his eyelashes and his general Dominican beauty, I think it's gonna have to come in at number 4.
I missed him and David Ortiz yucking up at the game the other night. Did you catch that when you were there?
Yeah, I saw them courtside. Ortiz in the Horford jersey. I actually once when Horford played for the Hawks, I asked him about his connections to Pedro. He said he grew up like always watching Pedro, and Pedro was like a big event. And he said he was good friends with Ortiz and Manny. So it was just a cool. Like they're apparently been friends for a while. So
yeah, I believe they had a cookout right before he signed with the Celtics. So we can thank David for that, along with many other things. My number 4, the Marcus Smart paintings. Any one of them, take your choice. Those are perfect. Any of the paintings, really. I remember the one with Jason Tatum reaching out and touching one of the Greek gods. I don't even know what that one was. He was reaching out to someone. I'm not schooled on my religion, as you can see, but those are awesome.
I think it's God.
Is it God? All right, yeah.
I think it's God.
We're going to get to God later in this list, but...
Of course we would.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, I think Terry Rozier vines in general. I don't know. It's hard to really like. That was always one of my favorite. We already talked about it with the Cook Life, but he's got some genius stuff. Anyone that gets the chance should go through Sam Sheenan's thread of all the good vines, but those are just constant entertainment, and just vines are hilarious. I kind of miss Vine.
Would Terry still be vining if Vine was still alive?
I don't know. Terry's got a lot of money to protect, and he can't be being as nonsensical. Like he's still very much on Snapchat and Instagram, which are similar. So I would think he'd definitely still be vining.
My number 3, the Marcus Smart flip. When he flipped up against the Bulls there on the ground, Like, there's the number one thing about Celtics, weird Celtics Twitter, is that the players just seem to keep playing into these like online perceptions we have of them. And there was nothing more Marcus Smart than him just like flipping up from his back onto the ground, an emotion that none of us could recreate. And then on God, real quick, I don't know if Nick Gelso made this or who at CLNS made that picture of him like rolling out with the little roller thing there. We've seen that picture, but it's him in space, and it's just the caption: "Is Marcus Smart God?" Like, you've never seen that one? I don't know if we can throw Nick Gelso as a key contributor to Weird Celtics Twitter. I'm not sure if I'm.
Anyone can contribute, and if that's the image you're contributing, you're. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to swear.
Whoa, 2 strikes.
I'm sorry, you get me going. You get the blood pumping with Weird Celtics Twitter talk. I get excited. I apologize.
So a double choice right there for number 3. You're number 2.
Number 2, I think, has to be Thick Jack Frame.
Oh, yes.
Thick Jack Frame is just, it's been so good for so long. And just the very first, I think I actually like the one of Marcus Smart holding the giant TV, and then it has the Draft Express thing on the TV that says Thick Jack Frame. That's just like a great combination. That's a meme inside a meme. And, but Thick Jack Frame, just because Semi is he does have a Thick Jack Frame. Like, if you see that dude at all in person, up close, he's huge.
I saw that. Yeah, I was interviewing him the other day at practice, and my eyes were on the chest for a little bit.
Yeah, they linger a little bit. It's like, wow, that's a thick dude.
My number 2 got to be Jalen and Kyrie floating in space. Kyrie in the background, Jalen with the glasses, making whatever face he was making. I mean, that has become so many different people's profile pictures on Twitter. It's hard to keep track of who's who. So that one's been so influential, so everlasting, that I think it'll fit as my number 2.
That's a great one. I mean, like Jalen and Kyrie, they combine for a lot of great images here on Celtics Twitter. They're both so cerebral and kind of weird that like you can just put them in any world and it kind of makes sense.
And 2 other people who just keep playing into it. I think someone asked Jalen at practice on Thursday how he stays calm, and he was talking about breathing and meditation or something when the crowd gets going. Right up his alley. I can't wait for this, because I don't know if you're going to guess where I'm going for number 1, but you're number 1. This is a big moment. Probably the first time you're declaring your number 1 here.
Number 1. I don't know. The thing that I think I have liked the most this season is Jaylen Brown on stage at Harvard giving a speech, but in the background it's a previous Photoshop of Jaylen Brown dunking in space with Guy Fieri in the corner, and then there's another screen and it's Marcus Smart taking a charge from from James Harden in the Rockets comeback. That was just like an all-around great image. And then just the other thing is Ben Simmons. Like the same image of Jalen on Craig, but take a 3U coward made by Jack Michael. That is one of I think that's recency bias, but Ben Simmons as a coward has been one of my longest, my favorite jokes so far, and it's just been a lot of fun.
I'll take the Ben Simmons one with the Wilt Chamberlain, both zeros cut out.
Yeah,
number 1. That was just too easy, but too good at the same time. We just get what we want through Twitter. It's free. It's great. What we need comes to us.
What's your number 1? I'm excited to hear it.
So I'm sitting down during the preseason, watching one of the games. Obviously, you want to see Hayward, Kyrie, all these guys coming together. Unsuspecting of when this weird Celtics Twitter thing was even going to come about. You know, if there's a big play, sometimes we'd all talk about it on Twitter. Like, we'd have our moments where Twitter would blow up. But we're watching the game. It's Hornets Celtics at the Garden. Mike and Tommy are on the call. Aaron Baines is in the game starting to do some things. And all of a sudden, Tommy Heinsohn, we know where we're going with this one. Just like so casually in the flow of conversation, like he was doing his due diligence, like this is just part of the job, goes, there is no way we were going to do this Banners broadcast episode 12 today without talking about Tommy's insane comment.
And life insurance. I'll tell you, I took a look at Baines in the shower. He looks like all of Australia. He is really put together. Look at this.
I talked about at the beginning, this game didn't need any more hype, any more excitement, anything else to put our eyes on it. with all the hype around this team, all there was to see yesterday, and he goes out and makes the call of the season in the first preseason game. I don't even know where to go with this, so I'm going to hand it off to Greg. Did he actually see Baines in the shower? Like, what kills me most about this is how matter of fact he said it, like he was doing his due diligence. I took a look at Baines in the shower, like it was something he had to do.
And all of Australia.
Yeah. What was the exact quote? It was,
he's as big as all of Australia. I think it's pretty right there for you. I remember I was in the Garden and I just saw like all.
Oh, you did not watch that live. That is too bad because I
saw the tweets about it. I was like, there's no way he just said that. It exploded.
No, because if you were watching that live and even just listening a little bit and you hear the line, I took a look at Aaron Baines in the shower. I mean, everyone drops over like all of Australia for good reason, but like just how casually and matter-of-factly he says, I took a look at so-and-so in the shower. Like, that's just part of the job. That's what you got to do. No way around it.
That's how he's been around these guys in the shower for years. That's just how you evaluate players, Tommy Heinsohn.
And to be fair,
he's been showering at the Boston Garden probably for, 60 years now? Like, I'm sure that's just like a regular occurrence with him. Like, that's been one of his places he's tasted the most showers. So it makes sense.
Not bad for number one, I'll say. And all of Australia definitely stuck with Baines. I don't think anyone ever asked him that. I don't think I would have the guts to ask Aaron about that one.
He wore a towel later in the year with like a I'm trying to PC it up with a on the towel, and it was like he was making light of the all of Australia joke. So I think he's been asked about it.
Now, is that word going to flash on here too? I don't know.
That was a scientific word. That word should be as fine as possible.
All right, that's anatomy. I think I'll let that one slide through the edits. Let's talk Eastern Conference Finals because there's a game tonight. I'm stunned. I'm just floored at how the series has gone. But I've been thinking after the Marcus Smart game in Game 2 where he just did everything Smart's capable of doing, hitting a long-range three, stealing balls, saving them out of bounds, dropping balls to Baines on the pick and roll, doing pretty much everything he's capable of, and really being the second man or first man in that win alongside Jaylen Brown. I don't think they're here without Smart, and I don't know where I'd rank him in importance to this run at this point, but he's got to be up there. I mean, where would you put him in importance level in them getting to 2 wins in these finals to this point?
I don't know. That feels impossible to do with this Celtics team just because it feels like each guy is playing kind of equal roles with the scoring, and a new guy can step up each night. But he was amazing in Game 2. Just the 9 assists and then all the insane hustle plays. It's hard to rank him. I think Horford is clearly like the number one and has been the most valuable player for the Celtics this entire time. Smart may be 2, but I could also see Jaylen Brown being 2, and then Tatum at times has led the offense, and then actually times Rozier's led the offense. So I feel like it's Al Horford and then basically a 4-way tie for second place. But Smart was amazing. There was nothing really the Cavs could do to stop him. He attacked in so many different ways, and then the hustle plays on top of hustle plays and like being the most physical guy on the court is just like what you want when you're doing playoff basketball.
The Celtics have already accomplished so much in this series. We're on the border of saying like they're right there. We're going to be seeing them in the NBA Finals. Like people saw the tweet about Game 1 of the Finals being on May 31st, and you get the eyes pointing that way, but no one wants to talk about it yet until you get to 3 wins. What's it going to take for Boston to close out this series going to Cleveland?
They got to keep playing defense. Like, they have done a good job of limiting LeBron James. He scored 40 points. I thought they did a good job on him in the second half. He might have been concussed. Who knows? Definitely helped if he was. Definitely helped if he wasn't, but he didn't play as well in the second half. I think they're going to have to keep playing and being the most athletic and most physical, and they can't play like they're up 2-0. Like, the part of the reason it feels like they won these games is that they've just been getting to every single 50-50 ball and treating it and playing defense with the amount of intensity where there's no real possessions off. And the Cavs really struggle to score the ball, and I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a commitment to the defensive end and continuing to play with a lot of energy. Because I expect they still have LeBron James. Like, LeBron James is going to figure out a way to even make his team better and still probably give you a 40-point triple-double. He's just the best player on the court. I just don't know if he has the weapons around him right now, but I don't know. You can never really rule him out.
Rozier flying and replicating his dunk in real time was a moment in the series, and if they go on to win it, I think that might end up being the definitive moment in that series.
That moment was wild. I thought he was for sure going to get blocked, and then he threw it down. It was great.
Yeah, and it just that was the LeBron motion. That was the LeBron dunk, right, with him running from behind. So that's a visual in itself right there. Did you have Cleveland in the series? Did you have Boston? Did you make a prediction?
I think I said Boston in 7, but I wasn't too confident about it. Oh, I think I said Cleveland in 6 or Boston in 7. I really thought the Cavs were going to come out with more of an effort, and they still can. I mean, I actually, after the Bucks series, the Celtics went up 2-0, and I declared the Bucks dead.
Yep, so did I. So many wrong predictions these playoffs.
They still have 2 home games. Like, they still have LeBron James. I'm trying to avoid declaring them dead, but there's nothing I've seen in the first 2 games that would, like, I've been really trying to figure out what their adjustments are going to be. And if it's basically just like just make more threes. If they make a lot more threes at home, then I think they're going to do a better job. But the Celtics have done a damn good job of running them off the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how effective just like maybe JR can go off because JR could go off and maybe Korver can go off. But this Cavs are really struggling to score. And maybe if they fix their 3-point shooting, I think that's how they would kind of climb back into the series.
I'd love to look at the defensive analytics cutting off that Milwaukee series because that series was so hard. I mean, you look back at that Game 7 and you're like, glad they got through that one because it seemed to be smooth sailing from there on the defensive end. I think the Bucks really just canceled out all that length that's played so well against Philly and Cleveland. But what has been able to be so effective against LeBron? Because he came in here notably with his second highest points per game in the playoffs ever for his career. And they held him to 15 in Game 1, I believe, and then just 10 points in the post in Game 2, which is a stunning number. Is it just Marcus Morris? Is it the number of guys they're able to throw at him? And what has made Morris so effective on him? There's just so many factors at play, but it's stunning the amount at which they've slowed him.
I think they're really doing a good job of limiting him on the drives. He scored a lot of his points off 3-point shooting and kind of outside shooting, but they're not letting him get to the rim. And I think actually playing Giannis and playing Ben Simmons has really helped them kind of prepare for that. But you see every single time they get back on the court, guys at the free throw line putting their hands up, just trying to build a wall, not letting LeBron get any air in transition, and then just really not letting him drive. Like LeBron, I think they're going to welcome him being a jump shooter just as they welcomed Ben Simmons being a jump shooter and just how they welcome Giannis being a jump shooter. And I think they've really limited on the drive, so he hasn't been able to kind of just abuse them down low or just at the rim. He's done a good job posting up because he's LeBron. He's always going to do a good job posting up, but when you go up, like, he doesn't want to have to fight all those battles on the offensive end and just post up like Marcus Morris or even Marcus Smart. Like, that's an exhausting process, and then he has to go and be the team's defensive player. I just don't think that's a sustainable strategy for LeBron. So they're really limiting his easy buckets, which is, I think, paying dividends. We saw it's just like a diminished LeBron in the second half.
I could mix in the West Finals, but I'm not going to do that for Jinx's sake. Jinx's too, man. Yeah, that too. That's Jam Packard. I'll ask him the question later on Twitter if this series gets to 3, because then I'll feel safe enough for that. But 8:30 tonight, Cavs, Celtics. Are you going to Cleveland?
I'm not going to Cleveland.
All right,
I wouldn't want to be caught dead in Cleveland.
He'll be watching it on his couch and tweeting from @JamPackard. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Bobby.
Reunion Arena in Dallas, where the Mavs and Lakers are playing tonight, was built in 1980. Now, you couldn't ask for a better facility. It's easily accessible, has all the comforts of a theater, and there isn't a bad seat in the house. But for some reason, there are those who prefer the Boston Garden, mostly those who wear Celtic green.
What is so special about the Boston Garden other than the fact that it's 1,000 years old? Let's take a look. First of all, a garden it's not. It's a train station, really. One flight up and you're on the fabled parquet floor. Now, before you get all misty-eyed about the parquet, take a closer look.